Hey everybody! Welcome back to our channel where we break down the latest in global politics and economics. Remember when Donald Trump slapped those tariffs on steel and aluminum imports back in 2018? It was a move that sent shockwaves through the global economy. Yeah, good times, except not really. Especially not for our friends across the pond in France. The repercussions were felt far and wide, and the French economy took a significant hit. See, these tariffs weren't just some abstract economic policy. They had real, tangible effects on businesses and workers. They were a direct hit on French businesses and workers. Factories that had been running smoothly for years suddenly found themselves in a precarious position. France, known for its high-quality steel and aluminum, suddenly found its exports facing a hefty tax. This wasn't just a minor inconvenience, it was a major obstacle. This made French products more expensive in the US market, hurting sales and putting a strain on industries. Companies that relied on exporting to the US had to rethink their strategies. From construction to manufacturing, the impact was felt across the board. Industries that depended on steel and aluminum saw their costs rise, leading to a ripple effect throughout the economy. And let's not forget about the consumer goods that rely on these metals. Everything from cars to household appliances became more expensive to produce. Prices went up, and people felt the pinch in their wallets. Ouch! Consumers had to pay more for everyday items, leading to frustration and financial strain. The tariffs weren't just bad for the economy, they were a blow to the transatlantic relationship. What had once been a strong alliance was now under strain. France, like many of its European neighbors, saw this as a hostile move from a close ally. The sense of betrayal was palpable, and it led to increased tensions. It felt like the US was picking a fight with its friends instead of working together to solve global trade issues. The spirit of cooperation seemed to be replaced by a sense of competition. And honestly, who needs that kind of drama? The world is complicated enough without adding unnecessary conflicts. The tariffs created a lot of uncertainty and made it harder for businesses to plan for the future. French workers took to the streets in protest, demanding action from their government. Economic analysts debated the long-term effects of the tariffs, and French factories struggled to stay afloat. The French government, along with other European Union leaders, had to navigate this new landscape carefully. International trade summits became battlegrounds for negotiating better terms and finding ways to mitigate the damage. Despite the challenges, French businesses began to adapt. Innovation became the name of the game, with factories finding new ways to stay competitive. New trade routes were explored, and alternative markets were sought out. Over time, efforts were made to mend the strained relationship. New trade agreements were negotiated, and there was a renewed focus on collaboration. Positive news coverage highlighted these efforts, showing that progress was being made. Slowly but surely, the French economy began to recover. Markets bustled once again, and consumers started to feel a sense of relief. The resilience of the French people and their ability to adapt played a crucial role in this recovery. The global trade landscape continues to evolve, and the lessons learned from this period are invaluable. Cooperation and understanding are key to navigating the complexities of international trade. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you next time for more insights into the world of global politics and economics. Take care. So, what did France do when faced with the aggressive tariffs imposed by the United States? Did they just roll over and take it, accepting the economic blow without a fight? Hell no. They came out swinging, but strategically. France knew that a hasty reaction wouldn't be effective. Instead, they planned a calculated response. France, along with the European Union, retaliated with tariffs of their own. This wasn't just a knee-jerk reaction. It was a well-thought-out strategy to hit back where it would hurt. They targeted iconic American products like Harley-Davidson motorcycles and Kentucky bourbon. These products were chosen not just for their economic impact, but also for their symbolic value. It was a classic case of, you want to play dirty? Two can play that game. The message was clear. Any aggressive move by the US would be met with equal force. But France knew that going toe-to-toe with the US wouldn't solve the problem in the long run. They needed a more sustainable solution. So, they took the high road and appealed to the World Trade Organization. This move was not just about retaliation, it was about setting a precedent and upholding international trade laws. They argued that the US tariffs violated international trade rules and created an unfair playing field. This legal approach aimed to bring a sense of order and fairness to the chaotic trade war. It was a bold move, showing the world that France was willing to stand up for what's right. They weren't just defending their own interests, but also the principles of fair trade. France also recognized the importance of strength in numbers. They knew that a united Europe would be far more formidable than any single nation standing alone. They worked closely with other EU member states to present a united front against the US tariffs. This collaboration was crucial in amplifying their collective voice on the global stage. This show of solidarity sent a clear message. You want to mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. The unity among EU nations was a powerful deterrent against any further aggressive actions. And that, my friends, is the power of a good old-fashioned alliance. In the face of adversity, France and the EU demonstrated that unity and strategic thinking could turn the tide in their favor. This episode serves as a reminder of the strength that comes from standing together and the importance of upholding the principles of fairness and justice in international relations. Enter Emmanuel Macron, the French president with a penchant for sharp suits and even sharper rhetoric. Known for his eloquence and firm stance on global issues, Macron has often been a figure of both admiration and controversy on the world stage. Macron emerged as a vocal critic of Trump's tariffs, calling them illegal and a threat to the global trading system. He didn't mince words when it came to defending the principles of free trade and the rules-based international order. He wasn't afraid to speak truth to power, even if that power happened to be the President of the United States. Macron's confrontations with Trump were not just about tariffs. They were about the very fabric of international relations and the future of global cooperation. But Macron wasn't just about talk. He believed in action and demonstrated it through his relentless efforts to safeguard European interests. His approach was multifaceted, involving both diplomatic engagements and strategic economic policies. He understood that the EU needed to stand strong and protect its interests. Macron's vision was clear: a united Europe that could hold its own on the global stage, capable of negotiating from a position of strength. He worked tirelessly to build consensus among EU leaders and forge a common strategy against the US tariffs. This was no easy feat, given the diverse interests and perspectives within the bloc. Yet, Macron's diplomatic skills shone through as he navigated these complexities. His leadership was crucial in maintaining unity within the bloc and preventing the situation from spiraling out of control. Macron's ability to mediate and find common ground was instrumental in keeping the EU's response coherent and effective. Macron also seized the opportunity to position France as a champion of multilateralism. He believed that in an interconnected world, no country could afford to go it alone. His speeches at international forums often emphasized the importance of collective action and shared responsibility. He argued that the best way to address global challenges like trade imbalances was through dialogue and cooperation, not unilateral action and protectionism. Macron's advocacy for multilateralism was a call to return to the principles that had underpinned global stability for decades. His message resonated with many world leaders who were growing increasingly wary of Trump's America First agenda. Macron's vision of a collaborative international community found support among those who feared the rise of isolationism and protectionism. Beyond trade and diplomacy, Macron also focused on innovation and the future of work. He championed the digital economy and sought to position France as a leader in technological advancements. His visits to startups and tech hubs were a testament to his commitment to fostering a forward-looking economy. Macron's leadership extended to environmental issues as well. He was a staunch advocate for the Paris Agreement and took bold steps to combat climate change. His efforts to rally global support for environmental sustainability highlighted his belief in the interconnectedness of global challenges. Macron's engagement with the youth was another cornerstone of his leadership. He understood that the future belonged to the younger generation and made it a point to involve them in discussions about the future. His town hall meetings and public forums were platforms for young voices to be heard. Macron also recognized the importance of culture in shaping national identity and international relations. He supported cultural exchanges and promoted French art and heritage on the global stage. His interactions with artists and cultural leaders underscored his belief in the power of culture to bridge divides. In matters of defense and security, Macron was equally proactive. He strengthened France's military alliances and ensured that the country remained a key player in global security. His commitment to defense was matched by his efforts to promote peace and stability through diplomatic channels. Macron's leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic was a defining moment. He navigated the crisis with a focus on public health and economic recovery. His interactions with healthcare workers and his policies to support the healthcare system were crucial in managing the pandemic's impact. Macron's humanitarian efforts were also noteworthy. He supported international aid initiatives and worked to address global inequalities. His commitment to humanitarian causes reflected his broader vision of a just and equitable world. Emmanuel Macron's tenure as a leader in turbulent times showcased his multifaceted approach to governance. From trade and diplomacy to innovation and humanitarianism, his leadership was marked by a commitment to global cooperation and a vision for a better future.